The British monarchy has survived wars, political upheaval, and public scandal for over 1,000 years. But right now, the biggest threat to the crown isn't coming from the outside. It's coming from inside Buckingham Palace itself. A king who's quietly losing his grip. A prince who's already making the real decisions. A queen consort who's being pushed to the margins. And a princess who's silently becoming the most powerful woman in the institution. What's happening behind those palace walls isn't just gossip or tabloid drama. It's a genuine transfer of power, one that's moving faster than anyone predicted, and one that's creating fractures in the royal family that may never fully heal. We're talking about ultimatums that have been delivered face to face, behind-the-scenes battles that are getting more heated by the week, and a succession plan that was supposed to unfold over years now being compressed into months. This is the story of how one arrest changed everything, how William is seizing control, why Charles is stepping back, and how Camilla has unexpectedly become the biggest obstacle standing in the way of the monarchy's future. And it all starts with one day that nobody in the palace will ever forget. February 19th, 2026. That's the date that cracked the royal family wide open. On that morning, Andrew Mountbatten Windsor was arrested. The allegations were severe, sharing confidential government documents that were connected to Jeffrey Epstein's network. For a family already battered by years of scandal, this was the nightmare scenario. Not another embarrassing interview, not another round of bad press, an actual arrest. The shockwave inside Buckingham Palace was immediate. Meetings were called, statements were drafted, legal teams scrambled. But for one person in that building, none of this was a surprise. Prince William had been warning about Andrew for years, long before the rest of the family was willing to listen. According to Russell Myers, the author of a detailed account of William and Catherine's partnership, palace aides had flagged Andrew's behavior well before the public caught on. And William took those warnings seriously, more seriously than anyone else in the family. Cast your mind back to late 2019. Andrew sat down for what he clearly believed would be a reputation-saving interview with BBC Newsnight's Emily Maitlis. Instead, it became one of the most disastrous public appearances in modern royal history. His inability to express sympathy for Epstein's victims, his bizarre claim about not being able to sweat, his stumbling attempts to explain photographs and timelines. Public reaction was brutal. And behind closed doors, William's reaction was just as fierce. Sources say he went directly to both King Charles, who was then still Prince of Wales, and to the late Queen Elizabeth. His message was blunt and unambiguous. Andrew needed to be removed from royal duties immediately. Not gradually, not quietly, immediately. Myers reported that William told senior royals in no uncertain terms that failing to act fast would cause lasting damage to the monarchy's credibility. He stressed that protecting the institution had to take priority over protecting one family member. But at the time, his warnings landed on resistant ears. The Queen, fiercely protective of Andrew, wasn't willing to take dramatic action against her son. Charles, caught between his mother's wishes and his own concerns, hesitated. The result was a slow, painful process of gradually distancing Andrew from public life, a process William felt was far too cautious and far too late. Now, in 2026, every single concern William raised has materialized in the worst way imaginable. The arrest didn't just validate his warnings, it gave him something far more powerful: the moral authority to take charge of the family's response. With Charles dealing with his own health battles, William stepped into a leadership role that goes well beyond what any heir has exercised in modern royal history. Palace sources confirm that William has driven every major decision about Andrew over the past half-year. The removal of remaining titles, the eviction from Royal Lodge, the complete institutional separation. This isn't Charles acting alone with William nodding along. This is William setting the strategy and Charles agreeing to it. That's a massive shift, and it's only one part of a much bigger picture. Because Andrew's arrest didn't just expose a scandal, it accelerated a process that was already quietly underway: the transfer of real power from one generation to the next. King Charles III took the throne in September 2022 at the age of 73. That made him the oldest person in British history to become monarch. He had waited longer than any heir before him, spending over 7 decades as Prince of Wales. When the crown finally came, you might have expected him to grip it tightly, and to some extent, he did. But the reality of his reign has been shaped by circumstances nobody could have fully anticipated. In February 2024, just 17 months into his kingship, Charles was diagnosed with cancer. The specific type has never been publicly disclosed, but he began treatment immediately. For the remainder of that year and into 2025, he attempted to balance his treatment schedule with the demands of his role attending engagements when his health allowed, pulling back when it didn't. Then came a second blow. In March 2024, Princess Kate revealed her own cancer diagnosis following abdominal surgery. She underwent preventative chemotherapy and stepped away from public duties for several months. The monarchy, already navigating Charles's health crisis, was suddenly dealing with a double emergency. Two of its most prominent figures, the king and the future queen consort, were both fighting the same disease at the same time. The impact on public confidence was significant. Polls showed wavering support. Questions about the monarchy's stability grew louder, and inside the palace, a quiet conversation began taking shape. What happens if Charles can't continue at full capacity? Reports from Closer Weekly suggested that Charles had started considering transferring some of his responsibilities to William as early as late 2024. One source was quoted saying that while Charles is deeply stubborn and waited his entire life for this role, some within the palace believed William and Kate would effectively be running things by 2025 or early 2026. Officially, no one at Buckingham Palace has confirmed any formal succession timeline. Spokespeople have consistently pushed back on rumors of abdication or an accelerated handover. But the signals tell a different story. In 2025, Charles took the unusual step of granting William and Kate the authority to issue royal warrants, the ability to formally endorse brands and products on behalf of the crown. On its face, this might sound like a minor administrative detail, but in practice, it represents a genuine transfer of influence. Previous monarchs have guarded this privilege carefully. It's not something you hand off casually. More broadly, William is no longer just sitting in on decisions or offering opinions that may or may not be taken. He is actively shaping the direction of the monarchy. In some cases, insiders say he is the one making the final call, with Charles ratifying his choices rather than the other way around. One royal source put it plainly to the News International, explaining that Charles isn't merely helping William grow into the role he is guiding him to lead during a time of extraordinary crisis, fully aware that the monarchy's future rests with the Wales family. The unspoken reality is this: Charles is 77 years old and undergoing cancer treatment. He knows, perhaps better than anyone, that his time on the throne may not be long. The succession plan everyone assumed would play out over a decade or more is being compressed. It's not a plan for someday, it's a plan for right now. And William isn't just preparing to sit on the throne and carry on as his father did. He's building something fundamentally different. His vision for the monarchy is unlike anything the institution has seen, and it's already raising eyebrows among the old guard. William wants the monarchy to operate more like a modern organization. Think clear chains of command, defined roles and responsibilities, public accountability, transparent decision-making, less power concentrated in the hands of longtime courtiers who've spent decades operating behind closed doors with minimal oversight. This isn't just theory. He's already testing this approach. The Royal Foundation, the charitable organization William runs with Kate, functions with a CEO, a formal board of directors, published goals, and regular public updates. It's structured like a well-run company, not like an aristocratic institution from the 18th century. William plans to apply a similar model to the monarchy itself when the time comes. He's also been putting this philosophy into practice through his management of the Duchy of Cornwall, the massive estate he inherited when Charles became king. Those who work closely with him describe a leader who constantly questions why things are done a certain way. Not to be difficult, but because he genuinely believes that tradition for the sake of tradition isn't good enough. One insider noted that accountability is at the core of everything the prince and princess do, adding that they want the monarchy to be recognized for its impact and its benefit to the country. Their standard is simple: the institution must be fit for purpose. In a revealing conversation with Canadian actor Eugene Levy in October 2025, William said directly that change is on his agenda. But he also acknowledged the difficulty of what he's attempting. As he put it, the challenge is bringing about meaningful evolution inside an institution that exists specifically to represent continuity and stability. It's a contradiction, and William knows it. A former royal aide offered one of the most vivid metaphors for what William is attempting. He compared the monarchy to a jar of Marmite, pointing out that while the label has looked essentially the same for generations, the recipe inside has been quietly adjusted many times. William's strategy is similar: make changes substantial enough to matter, but subtle enough not to alarm people who cherish the monarchy's traditions. When William takes the throne, insiders expect a noticeably slimmed-down institution, fewer working royals, tighter control over who gets to represent the crown in any public capacity, and an absolute zero-tolerance policy for anything that brings scandal or embarrassment to the family. The Andrew situation has only reinforced this conviction. William has reportedly told close associates that anyone, regardless of blood or title, who brings disrepute to the monarchy will be cut loose without hesitation. No second chances, no quiet arrangements, no looking the other way because of family loyalty. It's a radical stance by royal standards, and not everyone inside the palace is comfortable with it. In fact, the strongest resistance to William's plans isn't coming from dusty traditionalists or grumbling courtiers. It's coming from someone much closer to the throne. Queen Camilla has emerged as the most unexpected obstacle to William's modernization agenda, and the source of the conflict reveals just how complicated royal life really is beneath the surface. The core of the dispute is personal. It involves Sarah Ferguson, the Duchess of York, ex-wife of the very same Prince Andrew, whose arrest has thrown the monarchy into crisis. According to multiple reports, William has taken a firm position that the only safe strategy is total separation from anyone in Andrew's orbit. That includes Sarah. No public association, no private friendship that could leak to the press and create even a hint of connection to the Epstein scandal. In William's view, this isn't about fairness, it's about survival. But Camilla sees it differently. She and Sarah Ferguson have been friends since the 1970s, long before either of them had any connection to the royal family. Their friendship predates marriages, divorces, scandals, and crowns. To Camilla, the idea of cutting someone off because of guilt by association feels deeply unjust. This isn't just an abstract disagreement, though. There are real complications that make William's concern legitimate. Sarah Ferguson's name appears in the Epstein files released by the United States Department of Justice. Now, to be clear, there is no evidence that Sarah was involved in any wrongdoing. But the documents contain emails showing she had contact with Epstein, and in at least one message from October 2009, she appeared to ask him for financial assistance during a difficult period for her businesses. The exact amount referenced is unclear. She wrote, "I urgently need 20, but the association alone is damaging." William reportedly views Camilla's continued friendship with Sarah as an unacceptable image problem. His argument is straightforward. If the queen consort is seen as close to the ex-wife of a man at the center of one of the most damaging scandals in royal history, it undermines everything the palace is trying to do to restore credibility. Every public sighting, every private dinner, every exchanged message is a potential headline waiting to explode. Camilla's counter-argument is equally straightforward. She values loyalty. She has known Sarah for nearly 50 years, and she will not throw away a meaningful friendship because of events she had nothing to do with. In October 2025, Camilla actually played a significant role in the decision to strip Andrew of his remaining titles. Reports at the time indicated that Andrew had been actively undermining her efforts to support survivors of abuse, which pushed her to act. So Camilla did take action against Andrew, but she did it on her own terms, for her own reasons, and through her own channels. Not on William's timeline. Not according to William's playbook. And that distinction matters deeply to the future king. William doesn't want selective, case-by-case judgment calls from Camilla. He wants a clean, comprehensive break. Everyone connected to Andrew. Every link severed. No room for interpretation. No room for headlines. The gap between William's all-or-nothing approach and Camilla's desire for a more nuanced, relationship-preserving balance has created a genuine rift between the future king and the current queen consort. A rift that palace sources say is getting wider, not narrower. And on the other side of Camilla's isolation, Sarah Ferguson herself has reportedly been left feeling abandoned. According to one source who spoke with OK Magazine, Sarah believed that even if Camilla couldn't publicly defend her, she would at least be willing to show subtle support, perhaps simply being seen together. A quiet signal that their friendship remained intact. That support never materialized. Sarah is now feeling increasingly cut off from the one person she thought would stand by her. But the tension between William and Camilla is only the surface layer. Beneath it, a more personal and arguably more consequential rivalry has been simmering, and the Andrew crisis blew it wide open. Kate Middleton and Queen Camilla have never had the smoothest relationship. Insiders have described it as rocky for years, characterized by polite public appearances masking genuine friction behind closed doors. But what's happening now goes well beyond personality clashes or differing styles. It's a genuine struggle over who holds influence inside the palace during the monarchy's most vulnerable moment in decades. When Andrew's arrest hit, Kate didn't wait for instructions. She stepped directly into a crisis management role. She started working hand-in-hand with palace communication staff to coordinate the public response. She consulted with legal advisors on how to navigate the fallout. She made sure that William's strategy for managing the scandal was being executed at every level of the institution. In practical terms, Kate was functioning as the operational lead of the monarchy's crisis response, a role that traditionally would fall to the queen consort or the monarch's most senior advisors. Camilla was not at the center of this effort, and she noticed. Sources from the National Examiner report that Camilla felt genuinely threatened by Kate's involvement. Her complaint, relayed through palace intermediaries, was that Kate was making both Camilla and Charles look weak, as if they needed the younger generation to step in and handle a situation they should have been managing themselves. One insider put it bluntly, Camilla believes the last thing Charles needs right now is for Kate to create the impression that he can't manage the crisis on his own. But Charles apparently doesn't share that view. Multiple sources confirm that whenever Camilla raises concerns about Kate's role, Charles defends his daughter-in-law. He sees Kate's involvement as genuinely helpful additional support during an extraordinarily difficult period, not an attempt to undermine anyone. That defense has only deepened Camilla's frustration. Palace watchers say she becomes visibly tense whenever Kate enters a room during meetings or events related to the Andrew situation. The body language has shifted. The warmth, such as it was, has cooled noticeably. What makes this dynamic even more charged is the public optics. During the height of the Andrew scandal, it was Kate, not Camilla, who appeared alongside William at key public engagements. While Camilla attended her own scheduled events, the images that dominated the news showed William and Kate presenting a united, stable front. Whether intentional or not, it sent a clear message about where the future of the monarchy rests. Kate was also taking an active role in palace meetings, where coordinated statements and strategies needed to be approved. She wasn't just sitting in. She was contributing, asking questions, shaping language, and making suggestions that were being adopted. For Camilla, this crossed a line. In her view, a princess should not be operating at the same level as the queen consort in institutional decision-making. But the reality on the ground was shifting faster than protocol could keep up with. Adding another layer of pressure, there were growing, though still marginal, public calls for Charles to step down during the Andrew crisis. These voices haven't gained serious political traction, but their mere existence illustrates how precarious Charles's position has become. A source from the National Examiner noted that many people believe Camilla should be more gracious during this period, that fighting for territory while the monarchy is under genuine threat is the wrong battle at the wrong time. The same source added something that must have sent chills through Camilla's quarters. It's entirely plausible that William and Kate could take the throne sooner than anyone currently expects. For Camilla, the choice ahead is stark. She can either accept that power is shifting to the next generation and find a way to support that transition with dignity, or she can continue fighting for her position and risk deepening fractures at the worst possible moment. Then, in late February 2026, William did something that no heir to the British throne has done in living memory. He directly confronted the Queen Consort and issued what multiple sources describe as an ultimatum. The subject was, once again, Camilla's friendship with Sarah Ferguson. But the tone and the stakes had escalated far beyond previous disagreements. William reportedly told Camilla in clear, unambiguous terms that she had two options. She could publicly distance herself from Sarah Ferguson, making it unmistakably clear that there was no connection between the Queen Consort and anyone in Andrew's sphere. Or she could maintain the friendship and accept the consequences. Further damage to the monarchy's reputation, continued negative press, and the growing perception that the palace was not serious about accountability. This was not framed as a request. It was not presented as a suggestion for her consideration. According to those briefed on the exchange, it carried the weight of a directive the future king making clear to the current Queen Consort what he expected, and what would happen if those expectations weren't met. Under normal circumstances, this kind of confrontation would be unthinkable. Royal protocol simply does not allow the heir to issue orders to the Queen Consort. The hierarchy is clear and has been maintained for centuries. But these are not normal circumstances. William now holds what insiders describe as final authority over all decisions related to the Andrew scandal and the monarchy's public reputation. This authority is believed to have been explicitly granted by King Charles himself, a recognition that William has both the judgment and the resolve to navigate this crisis, and that Charles's health prevents him from leading the response with the energy it demands. Camilla, for her part, attempted to take control of the narrative in her own way. In February 2026, she arranged a meeting with Gisèle Pellicot, the Frenchwoman whose harrowing assault case had become an international symbol of courage for survivors. The meeting was clearly designed to reinforce Camilla's credentials as an advocate for victims, a cause she has championed for years and one that is deeply personal to her. But the public response was devastating. Social media erupted with accusations of hypocrisy. Comment after comment pointed out the contradiction. How could Camilla claim to stand with survivors while maintaining personal ties to individuals linked, however indirectly, to one of the most notorious abuse scandals in modern history? The backlash was loud, sustained, and deeply embarrassing. It also proved William's point. In his view, the monarchy cannot credibly champion accountability while leaving room for perceived conflicts of interest, even personal ones. The message William has delivered to Camilla and to the palace at large is that personal loyalty, no matter how deeply felt, cannot take precedence over the institution's survival. If Camilla cannot or will not accept that principle, William is prepared to marginalize her influence, reduce her role in strategic decisions, and simply wait. Wait until Charles's reign ends. Wait until he sits on the throne and Kate becomes Queen Consort, and then implement his vision without any obstacles in the way. So where does all of this leave the British monarchy? The changes unfolding at Buckingham Palace right now are not just about family disagreements or interpersonal rivalries. They represent the most fundamental reimagining of the institution in a generation, possibly longer. Prince William is preparing for a reign that will look and feel dramatically different from what came before. When he takes the throne, the expectation among those closest to him is that several key shifts will happen quickly. The monarchy will shrink. Fewer working royals, fewer public-facing family members, tighter control over who gets to represent the crown and under what circumstances. the institution will professionalize. Decision-making will become more transparent, more structured, and less dependent on the personal preferences of aristocratic courtiers who have historically wielded enormous influence behind the scenes. Accountability will become non-negotiable. William has made clear to his inner circle that there will be zero tolerance for scandal. Anyone, family member or otherwise, who brings embarrassment or controversy to the monarchy will face immediate consequences. No private negotiations, no quiet arrangements, no protective buffer of royal privilege. Kate's role will expand significantly. She is already functioning as William's strategic partner in ways that go beyond what any Princess of Wales has done in modern history. When she eventually becomes Queen Consort, insiders expect her influence to be substantially greater than Camilla's, not as a figurehead, but as an active participant in shaping the institution's direction. But all of this depends on how the monarchy navigates the next few months. The Andrew situation is far from resolved. Criminal proceedings could drag on for months or even years, and every new revelation risks reigniting public anger. If the palace can demonstrate genuine accountability, showing that it dealt with Andrew swiftly, transparently, and without favoritism, there is a real chance the monarchy emerges from this crisis stronger and more credible than it was before. Crises, after all, can be transformative if they're handled with courage. But if the response looks slow, defensive, or self-protective, if it seems like the family is once again closing ranks to shield one of its own, then the calls for abolition that are currently at the margins will grow louder. And this time, they might find a more receptive audience. One source close to the palace captured the stakes perfectly. Right now, the family and the country need stability. But there will come a time, and it may come soon, when William will implement the changes he believes are necessary, changes centered on accountability and purpose, not just tradition and pageantry. The source added that the role of the institution itself will be redefined under William's leadership. The generational transition is already visible to anyone paying attention. Charles is the king, but William holds the real influence. Camilla carries the title of Queen Consort, but Kate is the one shaping strategy and guiding the public response. The older generation still sits in the seats of power, but the younger generation already has its hands on the controls. As the Andrew scandal continues to unfold with the possibility of criminal charges, new documents, and further revelations, William's authority will only expand. In times of crisis, the public instinct is to look forward, not backward. People don't rally around an aging, unwell monarch struggling to manage a situation that's spiraling beyond his control. They look to the next generation. They look for someone with energy, clarity, and a plan. And right now, that someone is William. Charles is slowly, steadily passing the torch. Camilla is fighting to maintain relevance and influence. Kate is quietly consolidating her position as the key strategic voice in the palace. And William is doing what he's been preparing to do for his entire life, taking charge of a monarchy that desperately needs a new direction. This isn't just palace drama unfolding behind gilded doors. This is an institution that has shaped a nation for 1,000 years, attempting to reinvent itself in real time. The old rules are breaking down. The old loyalties are being tested. The old ways of doing things are being questioned, challenged, and in some cases, discarded entirely. And not everyone is pleased about it. The question that remains, the question that will define the next chapter of the British monarchy, is whether this transformation will be completed before the cracks become too wide to repair. Whether William can modernize the institution fast enough. Whether Charles can hold things together long enough, whether Camilla can find a way to adapt, or whether she'll become a symbol of a generation that couldn't let go. And whether the public, the millions of people whose support ultimately determines whether the monarchy survives at all, will decide that this new version of the crown is still worth believing in. What do you think? Is William making the right call by demanding total separation from anyone in Andrew's circle? Should Camilla give up a 50-year friendship for the sake of the monarchy's image? Could this internal power struggle actually push Charles to step aside even sooner than expected? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear where you stand on this. If this breakdown gave you a new perspective on what's really happening inside the palace, hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. We're working on a deep dive into William's detailed plans for restructuring the monarchy, and trust me, some of what he's reportedly proposing will genuinely surprise you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.